Okay, hello everyone. Welcome. My name's Eloisa Ramos, and I'm here with my daughter Sonia. Hi, Sonia, and my friend Connie. Hi, Connie. So we are continuing with the study of the text of A Course in Miracles. We left off on chapter 18, the passing of the dream, and we finished the basis of the dream, and we're going to start section 3, light in the dream. Okay, so we're just going to review real quick the previous section, just so we can remember what came before. Okay, does not a world that seems quite real arise in dreams? Okay. Okay, yes, it does. Okay. Okay, but yet think what this world is. It is clearly not the world you saw before you slept. Rather, it is a distortion of the world, planned solely around what you would have preferred. Okay, so here, dreams are chaotic, paragraph 2, because they are governed by your conflicting wishes, and therefore they have no concern with what is true. Okay. Yes. Okay. You do not find the differences between what you see in sleep and on awaking disturbing. You recognize that what you see on waking is blotted out in dreams. Okay. Yet on awakening, you do not expect it to be gone. Yes. In dreams, you arrange everything. Okay, so when we sleep and we wake up, we think we woke up to reality, and we think, well, of course, we don't expect reality to be gone. We expect it to be there when we wake up. Okay, so we fall asleep, and we fall asleep because we think, well, tomorrow it will still be there. So, but what it's saying is about dreams is that we arrange everything. Okay. And they're chaotic because what we arrange is conflicting. They're wishes that are conflicting. And so they have no concern with what is true. So conflict means that there is no order, or there's no discernment, in sorting out the true from the not true. Okay, paragraph 4. Dreams are perceptual temper tantrums in which you literally scream, I want it thus. And thus it seems to be. Okay. And yet the dream cannot escape its origin. Anger and fear pervade it. And in an instant, the illusion of satisfaction is invaded by the illusion of terror. For the dream of your ability to control reality by substituting a world that you prefer is terrifying. Okay. So remember that in the previous section, was it the previous section or the previous chapter, we learned that we made but one substitution, and it was fear. We substituted fear for love. And so the dreams that we have are fundamentally based on that substitution. They're based on fear. And that's why line 4 says that the origin of the dream, is that substitution. Anger, and therefore anger and fear will pervade it. So even if there's, satisfaction in the dream, at some point, that illusion turns to terror. And the reason for that, it says here, is that the belief that the ability So to believe that we have the ability to control reality by substituting a world that we prefer is terrifying. Okay, so it's not so much that fear is terrifying, okay, because that's what we substituted. It's that we believe that we actually have the ability to control reality. Okay, as if we had greater power than reality. Okay, do you see what that means? Because reality is a true perception of truth. Okay, and because it's a true perception of truth, it's all true. Um, and to believe that we can change that would mean that we believe that we can substitute and distort what is true. Okay, and if we really had the power to do that, our mind would be really lost in unreality. You see, because the imagination it's like, how would we keep track of what reality is if we keep distorting it? Right? I mean, over thousands of years, the error would be multiplied, and the whole system is really like the ego thought system is very complex. And so it would become like a nightmare. It would become like a nightmare that we couldn't, get out of. Yeah, line 6, your attempt to blot out reality are very fearful, but this you are not willing to accept. And so you substitute the fantasy that reality is fearful, not what you would do to it. And thus is guilt made real. Okay. So the guilt comes from believing that we actually have that ability and that power to change reality. Okay. Which we don't. So a dream does not change reality, just like at night. That was the example, the analogy that it was giving us. You wake up and everything that happened in your dream at night didn't change things at all when you wake up. You're still in the same bed. You still have the same job that you had the day before. The people around you are still the same. So maybe in your dream, you dreamed you were in a different country. You were on vacation. Okay. You wake up, nope, you're not in another country. You're not on vacation. Okay. So that's what this is saying, is that the dream is an illusion that has no real effect on reality. Okay. And that's why guilt is not real. Because if the dream could actually, if we actually had that power and that ability, then we would be guilty of having attacked or changed reality. Does that make sense? Yeah. Okay. All right. So, yeah. And so dreams show you that you have the power to make a world as you would have it be, and that because you want it, you see it. That's basically the idea of perception. That was the first split. So the mind became a perceiver rather than a knower. And we use perception because we want to see a world, okay, that is of our own making and deny the truth. So that's why the Course says that the mind is sick when it is asleep. And the healing would mean that the mind wakes up to the truth and lets go of the dream. of separation and fear. Okay. Paragraph 6, the Holy Spirit, ever practical in his wisdom, accepts your dreams and uses them as means for waking. Yes, you would have used them to remain asleep. So I said before that the first change before dreams disappear is that your dreams of fear are changed to happy dreams. Okay. And that means that they're changed to loving dreams. That means that the practice of forgiveness is the way that the Course offers to bring that change about. Okay. And so the Holy Spirit uses our special relationships, okay, as a means for undoing guilt. And so everyone is blessed through our holy relationship. Okay. All right. Let's go to the light in the dream, section 3 here, paragraph 1. You who have spent your life in bringing truth to illusion, reality to fantasy, have walked the way of dreams. For you have gone from waking to sleeping, and on to a yet deeper sleep. Each dream has led to other dreams, and every fantasy that seemed to bring a light into the darkness but made the darkness deeper. Your goal was darkness, in which no ray of light could enter, and you sought a blackness so complete that you could hide from truth forever in complete insanity. What you forgot was simply that God cannot destroy himself, capital H, himself. The light is in you. Darkness can cover it, but cannot put it out. Okay, so this is this is picking up from what we were talking about in the previous section. When we distort reality, we're denying the truth, and what we're doing is we are bringing truth to illusion, which means that we're interpreting the truth on the basis of ego thoughts, okay, rather than the other way around. And the Holy Spirit heals the mind by asking and having us bring the illusion to the truth, okay, so that the illusion is dispelled and the light of truth that is within us then shines forth. So literally, the light that is in you is the Holy Spirit. That's the Holy Spirit. The light in us, in our mind, is the Holy Spirit. That's the answer that God gave to us when the tiny mad idea came up, and we took it seriously. Okay, so the dreaming is a world where we project how we want things to be and then believe our own judgments and projections. And that's why the sleep gets deeper and deeper. Yeah, every dream has led to other dreams, and every fantasy but made the darkness deeper. Because the goal of the ego thought system is to hide or to dispel or to get away from or to escape the light. Yeah. And when it says you sought a blackness so complete that you could hide from truth forever, it's talking about the ego identity. Our ego identity would be perceiving truth as a threat. And it would be a threat because it would dispel the belief in separation, which is the ego. So let's see. Yeah. What you forgot was simply that God cannot destroy himself. Okay. So the eternal nature of what we are is eternal, is light, is eternal light. And so what is eternal cannot die. So a God that is eternal obviously cannot die. So it's not going to be able to destroy himself. So we can't do that either. Okay. You know, I mean, like the book that Gary Renard wrote, right? Our eternal was it eternal reality? Immortal, right? Our immortal reality. Yeah, that's our true nature. It's immortal reality. Yeah. And so the darkness can cover it. It just means that we can dissociate from it. We can kind of close our eyes to it. But we don't have the ability to change it, to put it out, to get rid of it. Okay. Okay. Paragraph 2.
So, Eloisa, did you mean to have the text up on the screen or
Is it up on the screen?
not on mine?
Can you see it, Sonia?
It's up on mine.
Oh, weird. Yeah, the
I don't
text is
know.
up on mine. Okay, well, I can go ahead and read. All right. As the light comes nearer, you will rush to darkness, shrinking from the truth, sometimes retreating to the lesser forms of fear, and sometimes to stark terror. But you will advance because your goal is the advance from fear to truth. The goal you accepted is the goal of knowledge, for which you signified your willingness. Fear seems to live in darkness, and when you are afraid, you have stepped back. Let us then join quickly in an instant of light, and it will be enough to remind you that your goal is light.
Okay, so yes, so the fear that there's we tend to associate darkness with the unknown, okay, and having forgotten the truth, we are afraid of it. And so on this journey here, we can sometimes fall back and retreat to the lesser forms of fear, because a lot of, let's see, because for many, maybe most on the planet, God has been associated with fear, mainly because we perceive God as judging and condemning, and therefore, why would we want to consciously before we put the body to rest, go there. Because we have all these associations that would say that God is not love. So, but when we have the goal of knowledge or the goal of truth, and remember that every situation can be used by the Holy Spirit for that purpose, if we remember to set the goal in advance, then that is what will be the outcome, because the mind is the one that is the dreamer. The sleeping mind is the dreamer, and if the sleeping mind sets the goal and says, you know what, like if you set a goal before you go to sleep, of asking Holy Spirit, please please use my dreams tonight to for the truth, for the goal of knowledge and truth. Then we're setting the intention of giving them over to the Holy Spirit for that purpose. And if we do that upon waking, we can offer that same intention. Holy Spirit, decide for me for God today, for every situation. You set the purpose ahead, and that is what the mind will see, because if we don't do that, then all of this past conditioning, okay, which is for the most part associated with fear, guilt, and sin, that's going to be the one that's going to be the it's going to produce chaos. The situations are going to have this contradictory nature to them, because we're not setting a clear intention, and we're allowing just our ego thoughts to project, and therefore the situation, we're not going to have a clear understanding of what the situation is for, and so we're going to then be at a loss for what the meaning, let's see, we're going to default to using our ego thought system to interpret the meaning after the fact, after the situation. So it will not be one of forgiveness. It will be, one of fear and attack and all of that. So, okay. All right, number 3.
My turn?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Truth has rushed to meet you since you called upon it. If you knew who walks beside you on the way that you have chosen, fear would be impossible. You do not know because the journey into darkness has been long and cruel, and you have gone deep into it. A little flicker of your eyelids, closed so long, has not yet been sufficient to give you confidence in yourself, so long despised. You go toward love still hating it and terribly afraid of its judgment upon you. And you do not realize that you are not afraid of love, but only what you have made of it. You are advancing to love's meaning and away from all illusions in which you have surrounded it. When you retreat to the illusion, your fear increases, for there is little doubt that what you think it means is fearful. Yet what is that to us who travel surely and very swiftly away from fear?
Okay. Did you want to say anything on that, Sonia?
I just think it's making a really important distinction of we don't realize you're not afraid of love, only what you have made of it. So it's what you think it means is fearful. So I guess that's just one point that I think is really important.
Exactly. So love is not fearful. I mean, that would be a contradiction, right? If love was fearful, it would be a contradiction, which is meaningless. So it's what we have made of it. So we have distorted it. So in the dream, we made love, eternal love, God, fearful. That's the one substitution that we made. And that's why it's a dream, because it never happened. It can't happen. Okay. But we believe that it did happen and that it can happen. And because we believe that, and until we can recognize that that it never happened, which is what the Course calls accepting the atonement, then we're going to experience fear. Okay, because the mind is substituting, making that one substitution. So yes, so you're advancing to love's meanings and away from all illusions in which you have surrounded it. So it's also, good here when it says that when you retreat to illusions, your fear increases. So it's good to catch that when we fall into fear, we're forgetting the truth. So we need to ask Holy Spirit to remind us that the separation never happened. That God is love, and that the will of God is the only will that there is. So that we can, let's see, so we can trust in that. We can trust in the reality of eternal love, and that undoes the fear. Yeah. Yet what is that to us who travel surely and very swiftly away from fear? Because that's what healing is. It's a release of fear. Okay, number 4. You who hold your brother's hand also hold mine. For when you joined each other, you were not alone. Do you believe I would leave you in the darkness that you agreed to leave with me? In your relationship is this world's light, and fear must disappear before you now. Be tempted not to snatch away the gift of faith you offer to your brother. You will succeed only in frightening yourself. The gift is given forever, for God Himself received it. You cannot take it back. You have accepted God. The holiness of your relationship is established in heaven. You do not understand what you accepted, but remember that your understanding is not necessary. All that was necessary was merely the wish to understand. That wish was the desire to be holy. The will of God is granted you, for you desired the only thing you ever had or ever were. Okay, so the dream is it's a wish. It's not a willing, because it's not a creation of God, and we share one will with God. So to undo the dream, is we have to we're not used to willing with God, so we're still at the level of wishing. So that's line 12. All that was necessary was merely the wish to understand. And it was, yes, but remember that your understanding is not necessary. The wish was the desire to be holy. So when we desire the truth, we are desiring, we are wishing to be holy. Because that's what the truth says. The truth says that we are holy. So to ask the Holy Spirit to make the goal of any situation the truth or knowledge, that is our wish or desire to be holy. And so the dream conforms to our wishes, because that's what the dream is. It's made up of our wishes. And so the will of God is granted you, for you desire the only thing you ever had or ever were. So when the wishes are in alignment with the will of God, then then God grants it to us because it's the truth. But if we're asking for if we're wishing for things that are not the truth, well, God's not going to grant us that. Because God can't grant us not truth, because God is only truth. So, and then we would be asking to be something that we are not, which is not possible. So let's see. Yeah, so when you hold your brother's hand, you also hold mine. That would be the Holy Spirit. For when you join each other, you are not alone. So joining is at the level of the mind. I mean, holding our brother's hands, that means joining. So it doesn't literally mean, taking a hand in a hand. Because obviously Holy Spirit doesn't have a hand. So it's a oneness. It's the recognition of oneness in spirit. Yeah. So this is the Holy Spirit. Do you believe that I would leave you in the darkness that you agreed to leave with me? That's why we call him the Holy Spirit. Okay. Because the Holy Spirit is the light. And so we want to be released from the darkness, released from the nightmare. So released from guilt, released from the fear and, sin and all of that. Okay, number 5.
Each instant that we spend together will teach you that this goal is possible and will strengthen your desire to reach it. And in your desire lies its accomplishment. Your desire is now in complete accord with all the power of the Holy Spirit's will. No little faltering footsteps that you may take can separate your desire from his will and from his strength. I hold your hand as surely as you agreed to take your brother's. You will not separate, for I stand with you and walk with you in your advance to truth. And where we go, we carry God with us.
Okay, so yeah, so forgiveness is really a decision to choose love rather than fear. And when we do that, we are holding our brother's hand, and joining. So the Course talks about joining with our brother, but not joining the dream. So we want to, so that's what the forgiveness allows us to do. It allows us to stay in love with our brother and overlook completely the differences that our brother might be perceiving, or the fear, the fear dramas that they may be promoting or whatever. So the forgiveness allows us to not separate based on differences in let's see, not just in appearances, but differences in beliefs, differences in religion, differences in let's see, points of view, differences in let's see, in past conditioning, cultural differences, religious differences, gender differences, all of that. Okay, so yeah. Anything you want to say with that paragraph, Connie? No? Okay, number 6. In your relationship, you have joined with me in bringing heaven to the Son of God, who hid in darkness. You have been willing to bring the darkness to light, and this willingness has given strength to everyone who would remain in darkness. Those who would see will see, and they will join with me in carrying their light into the darkness. When the darkness in them is offered to the light and is removed forever. My need for you, joined with me in the holy light of your relationship, is your need for salvation. Would I not give you what you gave to me? For when you joined your brother, you answered me. Yes, so in the holy relationship, we have joined with the Holy Spirit in bringing heaven to the Son of God, okay? And both heaven and the Son of God are capitalized, okay? Because it's oneness, so it's one Son of God, so there's no separation. The mind recognizes it's just one self. And in heaven we create, on earth we heal. So it's a healed mind that brings heaven to the sonship, to the Son of God, as oneself. And let's see, because we have been willing to bring the darkness to the light. So that means that we have been willing to look at the separation, the error, our beliefs, and we have been willing to forgive that. And that's giving it to the Holy Spirit. So that's bringing the darkness to the light, to undo. Yeah, so this willingness has given strength to everyone who would remain in darkness. So it doesn't just, see, salvation is not personal. Salvation is really shared. Yeah, did you have a question, Sonia?
Actually, I think it might be what you're about to say, as it actually ties into the personal kind of private, not private. Um, should should I just ask it, or I can wait till you're done?
No, go ahead. Yeah.
Because on the topic of holy relationships, like you were saying, that forgiveness is really the way that we join, like with our brother. So like in a relationship, for example, I'm thinking of friends, okay? So let's say that like are you set the intention for the relationship between the two of you to make it a holy relationship and forgive, your friend or whoever it is, but they do not see it the same way as you. Does it matter? Is my question.
No, it doesn't matter. Okay.
Okay.
Because the offering of the holy relationship is to the Son of God. It's not even individual. It seems to be because a
Yeah.
special relationship is individual to individual.
Yeah,
Holy,
yeah.
yeah, holy relationship is not person to person or body to body or ego to ego. The holy relationship is the recognition of oneness. So it's really a relationship with God. Okay. And there's
Yeah,
no
it's not a
difference.
specific.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's no difference. We no longer make a difference between my brother and God. My brother is God, you see, because we're one Christ mind. We're one Son of God.
Okay, yeah. Okay, thank you.
Hmm. Yeah, that's why it says that, right here, that it has given strength to everyone, okay, who would remain in darkness. And so it's like a blessing that blesses the whole sonship, okay? But remember that miracles are only seen in light. So think of the blessings as miracles, okay? But they're only seen in light. So that's why 3 says, those who would see will see. Okay. So not everyone will see the miracles because miracles are seen in light. And only with your willingness to see the light will you be able to see the light. And that's what the Holy Spirit requires, is that willingness. You see, because there's a free will. So the waking up of the mind is a matter of you could say that it's a personal decision because we believe we are a personal individual self. At that point, okay, the personal individual self has to recognize, okay, there's got to be a better way here. Okay, this is a nightmare. This is terror. This is suffering. This is, there's got to be another way. And so the mind begins to seek the light. Then it's open and has the willingness to desire the truth. And so that's the little willingness that is required for the miracle to be seen in light. Because otherwise we block the awareness of the miracle. We block the awareness of love's presence. But it doesn't mean that it's not offered to us when we're blocking it. It is offered to us. It's offered to everyone. But we don't receive it because we don't want to, basically. And when we are willing and desire it, then we will receive it. The mind will be open to receiving it. Yeah. And they that are open to receiving it will join with me in carrying their light into the darkness. Yeah. Yeah. So that's the miracle, when the darkness is then in them is offered to the light and is removed forever. So that's the healing. And so the Holy Spirit has a need for us, okay, because we are the bringers of God. We teach God. We are the bringers of heaven to the Son of God through our holy relationships. And that's we do that because that's our need for salvation, because we're not saved alone. I have to bring my brother with me. So, because we're one son of God, I can't recognize the oneness of being my identity as the son of God without recognizing, let's see, without recognizing that I am one with my brother, and that salvation, my salvation, is not an individual accomplishment. It's not a personal. We're not saved personally, one at a time. Yeah. Yeah. So for when you joined your brother, you answered me. Yeah. So salvation comes to us when we join with our brother. Okay. All right. Number 7. I don't remember who read last.
I think you read last, Mom.
Oh, okay. All right, Connie.
I think we skipped you though, Sonia. Do you want to read?
Okay.
Okay. And you're, let's see, 6. Oh, boy.
7.
Right. Whoop. Okay.
Paragraph 7.
Yeah. When you who are now the bringer of salvation have the function of bringing light to darkness. The darkness in you has been brought to light. Carry it back to darkness from the holy instant to which you brought it. We are made whole in our desire to make whole. Let not time worry you, for all the fear that you and your brother experience is really past. Time has been readjusted to help us do together what your separate pasts would hinder. You have gone past fear, for no two minds can join in the desire for love without love's joining them. Mm. Mm.
Anything, Connie, you want to say with that paragraph?
No, just really like that idea. Yeah. I had a couple experiences with that over the weekend. Yeah.
Do you want to share
Well,
one?
let's see. Yeah, I was thinking about getting together. We got together with some friends, and I was noticing I was feeling kind of just kind of out of sorts. It might be too complicated. So I'll just kind of bottom line what came of it was I went in with not the best frame of mind because of something that happened with another relationship. So I was bringing that into this group of people, that same thing. And I realized oh, that I was just projecting all this stuff that was all just happening in my mind. And none of it was true. And as soon as I really realized that, it was like everything changed and shifted with everyone around me and in the group. It was sort of like the darkness, because I did ask for help to see this thing differently. And then it was sort of like the light did come to me, and then I was able to just share that. Anyway, I'm not explaining it very well, but it really seems like this whole thing occurred without me having to do anything, just asking for that asking to join with everyone. Instead, I was feeling a little, Yeah, a little separate.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, that's wonderful. Yeah, that's really, it's a good example, Connie. Yeah.
I just felt so different and like just like that and like wow.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so I was grateful to be able to see that. Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly. The light just, yes, that was definitely the Holy Spirit because it gave
Yeah.
you the awareness to be able to see that all those things you were thinking were not true.
I know. It was
Yeah.
all just my imagination.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yes. Yeah.
Um,
Hmm.
okay, number 8. Is it my turn? Or is it Sonia? Sonia. Go ahead and read, Sonia.
Not one light in heaven but goes with you. Not one ray that shines forever in the mind of God but shines on you. Heaven is joined with you in your advance to heaven. When such great lights have joined with you to give the little spark of your desire the power of God Himself, can you remain in darkness? You and your brother are coming home together after a long and meaningless journey that you undertook apart and that led nowhere.
Hmm.
You have found your brother and you will light each other's way. And from this light will the great rays extend back into darkness and forward unto God, to shine away the past and so make room for His eternal presence, in which everything is radiant in the light.
Hmm.
Mhm.
Hmm.
Yeah, remember earlier, because it's saying here that line 7, and from this light will the great rays extend back into darkness and forward onto God to shine away the past. Okay. And so to make room for his eternal presence. And so it's going to shine away the darkness or the fear, because remember up here it said that all fear is past. Let's see, where was that? It was so yeah, line 4 in paragraph 2, it says, fear seems to live in darkness, and when you are afraid, you have stepped back into the past. Yes, so let's see. Well, it was saying that basically, uh, where was that? Where it said that light, that we think that fear is present, but it's not present. It's in the past. It's over and done with. So, I mean, so it's hinting at the idea that the dream itself is over and done with. That the dream of fear is that we're actually at the end of time looking back. And it's a matter of yeah, it's a matter of the great rays extending back to where we're looking into the darkness and forward onto God to shine away the past, so that we can remember, so that the mind can wake up and remember that it never happened. It's over and done with. In yeah, his eternal presence in which everything is radiant in light. So nothing changed the truth, the radiant light. It's a return to the radiant light. Okay. Okay, so any questions before we stop? Okay, so next time we will continue with section 4, which is the little willingness. So it's going to go a little bit more into that little willingness that it kind of talked about a little bit here. Trying to find it, but that's okay. We'll review it next time. Or here it is, paragraph 6. You have but been willing to bring the darkness to light, and this willingness has given strength to everyone who would remain in darkness. So those who would see will see. So I think that's the little willingness there. So we'll go into that next section next time. Okay, thank you. Thank you, everyone. Bye.